Hi friends, it's Wednesday, and I'm coming at you to start another weekly vlog. So I am vlogging every week of September because I'm doing 2 readathons this month. The first one is Orillium, and then the second one is Everbloom Academy. And I did mention in my last vlog that I was reading Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano, and I did finish that earlier this week. Murphy's up here with me. I did finish that earlier this week. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I did not fully love it, and it was not exactly what I was expecting. So it's a not multi-generational family story, but it's kind of like the Dutch House, and then it follows the characters from when they're like very young through adulthood and their entire lives. But it's primarily following this guy, William, whose sister died when he was a baby, and so his family, like, he felt like he never got love at home. And we really pick up the story when he is in college and he meets this woman, Julia, and him and Julia end up getting married, and like she introduces him to her 3 younger sisters, and we get also the point of view of one of the younger sisters, who is Sylvia, I believe, Sylvie maybe, can't remember. But we follow these characters through many years of their lives, like decades of their lives. William and Julia have a daughter, and so we follow the daughter for a little bit. Her name's Alice. In the later years, we follow Alice's perspective, and this book was really sad, but not in a like made me cry way, but not even like in a depressing way. It was just like kind of sad the way the family kind of falls apart, and that's a lot of what the focus of the book is, how these sisters' relationship, like their bond, is what drew William to them. And then William also kind of like not destroys them, but like they end up all having falling outs. There's issues with their parents that get discussed, and it's really about their family and then how William fits into that family, because he becomes part of their family when he marries Julia. I really liked this book, but I didn't quite love it. And I understand the criticisms of it more than, I don't know. I see that side. I see why people don't like this book or why people DNF this book. But it is the kind of story that I like reading, so I am glad that I read that one. I can't remember right now what prompts I read it for. I know for Orillium, it was whatever prompt is the cover is the color of your birthstone. I actually think I might not have had anything for Everbloom Academy. I think I just read it for the Orillium prompt. But since then, I have almost finished The Talent of Mr Ripley. I've been reading this forever. It's gotten good, but like it makes me so anxious reading it. So this is about a guy named Tom Ripley who gets hired kind of by this wealthy family in New York City, who he knew their son briefly, like he met them. I still really don't understand how they like came to find him, but he gets hired by this kid, Dickie's dad, because Dickie has been living in Italy and his dad wants him to come home and take care of the family boat building business. And so Tom gets sent to Italy on the Greenleafs, that's their last name, their like money to convince Dickie to come home. And things go awry in Italy. And I don't know if it's a spoiler to say more than that. I assume it is. I've known what this was about forever. But it takes a long time to get to like the inciting action, if you will. Mostly you're just following Tom as he's trying to like maneuver his next move. Also, it's important to note that Tom, back in New York even, was running cons. So he's a con guy. So you're pretty much picturing for the whole book trying to figure out what his con is. And it's good, but like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it at the end. I don't know. I read another book that said in one of the like comments, let me back up. I read another book a while ago that I really enjoyed that was critiqued for being too much of a ripoff of this book. And I definitely could see how that's true. For some reason, the other one just gripped me a lot sooner, and I was a lot more like invested in those characters. So I don't know really what that's about, but this book also came out in the 50s. And sometimes I think an older writing style can like give you a degree of separation from the characters. And not always, because I never really felt that way about like Jane Austen stuff. I always felt like I could, for the most part, connect with her characters. But I've noticed in my like recent reading journey that there are some older writing styles that I just really have a hard time connecting with the characters for some reason. And coming off of that, I am now reading Anna Karenina. It is Wednesday. I did start this on Sunday or Monday, and I am like 60% of the way through the audiobook, which I'm pretty proud of because it's long. It's like a 34-hour audiobook. And 60% is not bad. So it's taken a while to get through, but we're getting there. This one is about a woman named Anna Karenina, as you might imagine, but it's also primarily about this character named Levin. And just briefly, I'm going to try to give you the like family rundown of everybody. So Anna Karenina is like obviously the title character. She is married to this guy, who they call Karenin. I think his name's Alexei Karenin. I don't know if that's true. And she also has a brother named Oblonsky. And Oblonsky is married to this woman named Dolly. And Dolly has a sister named Kitty. And Kitty is in this like, she's like, not on and off again because it's, you know, Russia in the early 20th century. But she's like sort of courting this older gentleman named Levin, who is good friends with Oblonsky, who again is Kitty's brother-in-law and Anna's brother. Hope this all makes sense. I had to look up a flow chart for it. Anna ends up having an affair with this guy Vronsky, and Vronsky was the other suitor for Kitty, so that's all very messy. There are other characters that don't really matter as much, but I was not anticipating Levin to be the main character. He's the character we pretty much start with, and he's like at least 50% of the book is in his point of view, and then the other percentage of the book is like between Anna, Vronsky, and Oblonsky's, and like a little bit of Kitty and a little bit of Dolly. Like, it's all third person, but like those are like the primary viewpoints. And Levin's points are frankly boring. I don't like them. So that's been hard. It's a hard pill to swallow for me. And again, I'm having a hard time connecting with these characters because I just feel like there's such a separation between me and them with the way this is written. And I think it's because of the time period it was written in. On Goodreads, it says that it's like considered by many to be the best novel ever written. And like, I get it, but I also don't get it. I will attempt to do more of a deep dive on this if you care. I might do a separate like video talking about this book because I think there is a lot to be discussed. But all of that to say, it is now Wednesday. We bought our house today. We signed the paperwork this morning. I just got home from work and I'm about to go over there because my husband thinks it'll be fun if we like order pizza and eat pizza in the house on the first day. We don't have any furniture over there, obviously. We're moving this weekend, but we're taking some boxes now of like fragile stuff. Like, we've got some art on our walls that he's already taken over there. And he took, I think, like half the day off today, and he's taking the day off Friday too. I can't do that, but I'm happy for him. So we are moving. I'm very excited. I'm excited to do some like library decorate with me videos because I'm going to have an entire separate room dedicated to my library, and it will also become my filming space. And it should have a lot of natural light because it's got a really big like glass door next to it. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm going to go. I will let you know when I have other updates. I know I'm reading Anna Karenina for the Everbloom Academy prompt of a book that is translated. And there's a similar prompt in Orillium, but it's like the second step for one of the prompts because they're like divided into 3. I wish I could explain this better. But the first prompt is to read a book about vampires. And I just got in a hold of an audiobook for Suki Stackhouse, which is also on my Everbloom Academy TBR. I don't remember what prompt it is on that, but I'm considering picking that up and reading that because it should be relatively quick. It's like a 300-page book, so the audiobook should be like 8 hours. And if I can get through that, then I can finish Anna Karenina and count it for that prompt. I know I'm not really following the rules of Orillium anyway, so it doesn't actually matter, but that's what I'm thinking about doing. Also, because I feel like I need a little bit of a break from all the farming talk in Anna Karenina, which I was not expecting at all. So that's that. I will let you know when I have another update soon. Hey y'all, sorry, that light is weird. It's Thursday, and I did end up reading the Suki Stackhouse book that I was talking about reading. So it's less than 300 pages. I read it all. It was not hard. It's the 4th book. It's called Dead to the World by Charlene Harris, and this is a series about a woman named Suki Stackhouse, who is a bartender / waitress at this bar called Merlotte's in Bontemps, Louisiana. I believe is what it's called. I don't know if that's a real town or not, but it's supposed to be outside of Shreveport. And basically in this world, vampires have come out and said, hey, we're real. And so at Suki's bar, they serve this blood drink, synthetic blood, that is for vampires. And she ends up meeting this guy named Bill, who's a vampire, and they have a relationship. And there's sort of a love triangle brewing with another vampire that's happening where I'm at in the series, but there's all sorts of other like fantastical creatures. Like this book really focused on witches and but also broadened the world of like shapeshifters. So there are several people who are shifters. Some shift into like like one guy shifts into a collie, and then there's a group of people who shift into different, like, just, you can shift into anything, basically, is what I'm learning. So, I don't want to spoil anything that happens in this book, but it was good. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I give all of these books 3 stars. I did like this one more in the beginning than I liked any of the other ones, I think. I had a really good time with it at the very start. I'm trying to find good lighting in this room, but unfortunately, I think with the time of day that it is, I wonder if I turn off the stove light, if is it better? I don't know. But yeah, I liked it. It was fine. I will continue in this series. I do own a lot of these books. They're all packed away right now because, again, we are in the process of moving. This might be this vlog will be the last clips probably of this house because we're moving on Saturday. So very exciting stuff. But I just wanted to update you with that. And that was, I believe, I read there's a prompt in Everbloom Academy, the Everbloom Academy Readathon for a book with a talking animal. And so because this has shifters, they don't actually talk in their shifting form. So maybe it doesn't count, but I'm counting it. And then for Orillium, it was to read a vampire book. And this features vampires very heavily. So that's why I read this one. And it was an enjoyable time. I had a good time reading it. I am still reading Anna Karenina, and now I can read Anna Karenina for the prompt of a translated book in both readathons. Both readathons have a prompt for something translated. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Anna Karenina is still boring, man. I don't know what to tell you about it. It's not bad. I'm thinking it's going to be 3 stars. I know what happens at the end. I feel like everybody knows what happens at the end of this book. And again, my biggest surprise from this book is that I did not expect it to be about Levin so much. Levin, I don't know how his name is pronounced, but it is. It's about him mostly and his relationship. I've already explained everyone's relationship to each other, so I will not bore you with that again. But it's fine. It's long. It's drawn out, but it's also very simply written and pretty easy to follow. So I'm having a fine time reading about characters who are, for the most part, horrible. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't think Russian literature is for me. I think I've already said that too, but this is at least the 2nd or 3rd Russian literature book that I've tried to read, and I just don't know if it's really my vibe. So I also think I said earlier that this was a 20th century novel. No, it was written in the 1800s. So it's 19th century. So my bad about that. I thought it was turn of the century for some reason, but it's the 1870s. So anyways, thank you so much. I'm making dinner for us. I made this the other day. You can't even see it. It doesn't matter. It's it's curry ramen. So it's a curried broth, and then I'll put ramen in it once the broth is heated through to a boil. Matt is actually at our new house right now. He is changing out light switches because he doesn't like the flip up and down ones. He wants the slanty ones that go like this. I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but he wanted to do that before he moved in, so that's what he's doing today. Yeah, and I have to pack up the rest of my clothes tonight, so I think I'm going to leave out shorts and a t-shirt to wear on Saturday for our actual move, and then I'm leaving out a pair of slacks and a button down to wear tomorrow to work. But yeah, other than that, I'm packing all of the rest most of my clothes are already packed, but I had some left because I didn't know what else we were going to do. So I'm going to pack all of those clothes up, and I'm probably also going to finish packing the kitchen tonight because I feel like tomorrow we'll just eat out, and then Saturday we'll just eat out, so that way everything can be packed. Obviously the food we can move at any point because I don't know if I've already said this, our lease doesn't end here until October 1st, so we have some time to finish moving everything. We just have the big move on Saturday, so that's when we're hiring movers to get our couches out and our beds and stuff like that. So we will be sleeping in the new house, but it's okay if we still have some stuff here that we have to come back and get. But I would like to keep that to a minimum if possible. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I will let you know when I have another update soon. I plan on finishing Anna Karenina, if not tonight, by tomorrow, and then starting something else. I don't know what audiobook I'm going to start next. I actually think my hold for Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey, my library book copy of that, I think that has the shortest turnaround. I think I only have 8 or 9 days left on the loan, so I don't technically have to read it right away because I do read audiobooks fairly quickly, as you can imagine by the fact that I read Anna Karenina, and I'm gonna finish it in less than a week. But I still like to prioritize things that are gonna go way faster, especially if they have a wait list, and this one has a wait list. And this is the second time I've gotten it, and so I want to get to it this time. So that's my plan. I don't know what I'm going to be able to squeeze that into, if I'm going to be able to squeeze that into any prompt, but we'll see. So that's that. This is bubbling. I'm gonna put the noodles in, and I will talk to you when I talk to you. Hi friends. It's like 9 o'clock, I think, on Saturday. So I'm coming here to wrap up this portion of the vlog. However, I think I will do something else tomorrow to like really go over what prompts I read everything for, just as like a brief recap of the week. I don't know if you can tell, we are in our new house. We spent all day today moving. I'm so tired. Marvel is sitting on the couch with me. Murphy just ran into this room. We have not set anything up basically, but we're like in the process of setting things up. So I've been unpacking the kitchen, which I didn't realize the kitchen of the house we bought is smaller than the kitchen of the house we rented. So that's been an experience. I also always have really high hopes that I will like declutter things before we move, and I never do. So we've moved all this stuff and I've got like a pile of declutter stuff, which is fine. But more to the point, I finished Fixer Up, which I don't even know if I talked about starting to read, but this is about Georgie, who is a 23-year-old professional clown. She's the youngest in her family, which is relatable to me because I'm the youngest in my family, and no one really takes her seriously. And she also works as a professional clown, which is part of why no one takes her seriously. But her whole family runs this like construction renovation company. And I think some of the later books follow her sister when her sister like is trying to make a name for herself with this renovation company. But anyways, this book is about Georgie, and I'm not gonna remember the guy's name now. Dang it. It doesn't matter, but he used to be a professional baseball player. Travis Ford, that's his name. He was a professional baseball player, and for some reason his career ended. I don't know, it like briefly mentions him having had an injury like years ago, but it doesn't sound like that's why his career ended, so I'm not really sure what happened. But he's 28 and he's just moved back to his hometown, and he is Georgie's older brother's best friend. So I did not know this was an older brother's best friend romance, which is something that I enjoy, as we've learned, like a childhood like crush turned reality thing. So that was fun. But I gave this book 5 stars. I ended up really loving it. I kind of waffled on what I was gonna rate it, but I waited so long to rate it because I finished it earlier today, but I read most of it yesterday. I really enjoyed it. It's their love story. They end up fake dating because he has lost his career with the MLB, but he is being asked to be a commentator, but he gets like intel that they want someone who seems like they're gonna stick around and has like roots, and so he decides to fake date Georgie, and it's pretty steamy as far as like what I was expecting. And they like hook up kind of soon into their like fake dating thing. Like they decide to fake date and then they're immediately making out, which I thought was interesting. I didn't mind it, okay? But it's just different because I feel like normally the fake dating is mostly pining, and then at the end they like consummate the relationship because they realize that like the other person likes them too. But in this one, they like were both just really into each other, I guess, the whole time. But I really loved it. I got the warm and fuzzies. I did the like giggling, kicking your feet thing. Like I was having a really good time. I was really rooting for them as a couple, and all of their conflicts made sense to me. So Travis has this reputation as being a man whore, which is why he needed to have like a stable relationship or whatever in order to get this job. And Georgie just wants people to take care of, or not take care of her, to take her seriously as an adult woman. And so she's like, this is my boyfriend, Travis Ford. And like, I don't know, it just was a way for her to like gain social capital in that way. That's why they fake dated. I think it's funny that so many of these fake dating things end up being because one person needs to look stable. Like, I think that's the Allie Hazelwood book. What is that called? The Love Hypothesis. That's why they fake date in that one. I read another one where it was a Vera McFarlane book, I think, where they end up fake dating because one of them wants a promotion and the other one wants to make her ex jealous. So it seems like the guy fake dates because he wants to be taken seriously. That's like a pretty common reason for the fake dating to occur, which is fun, you know. I like that. I'm so tired. I also finished Anna Karenina today while I was unloading boxes. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I don't wish I DNF'd it. I'm glad that I finished it because I'm glad that I can say that I've read that book. Do I recommend it? Not really. I thought it was pretty boring. Focuses a lot on Levin. Talks a lot about like social class and like social ideology and philosophy at the time, which I don't care about. So for me, I was kind of like, meh. But I am glad that I read something because I feel like it was culturally significant. Matt's coming down the stairs. I don't know if you could even see him, but he's being ridiculous. Anyways, those are the 2 things that I finished. I've started Burn by Patrick Ness, which is for the Everbloom Academy prompt of like reading a book that features either a dragon or a unicorn. It features a dragon. And I think in Orillium, there's a prompt that's like, read a book with a non-human protagonist, and we get a point of view of the dragon in this book. So that's why I chose it. But it's the premise, Matt chose it. He wants me to let you know that he chose it. I had 5 audiobooks that I got loans out of my library for. And I asked him to pick a number between 1 and 5, and he picked the number that equated to Burn by Patrick Ness. So shout out to him. But yeah, so all of them I think would fit a prompt. I don't know if all of them actually did, but regardless, it doesn't matter at this point because I'm reading this one. I don't know how I'm feeling about it, to be honest. It's about, okay, so it's like alternative history / fantasy. So it's set in the 50s and everything is the same except for dragons exist. And so the dragons at this point are like at peace with people, or at least like have come to an understanding, and they're not like in active war. But we have like 3 point of view characters. The first one is this girl whose name I don't know. She's fine. She's a teenager in this really small rural town in Washington State, and she is half black, half white, which is like the center of her strife because she's the only mixed race person in her town, and then her dad has been kind of ostracized because he's a white man who had a relationship with a black woman. Her mother has died, so it's now just her and her dad on this farm, and they are so poor that they've had to hire a dragon to help them clear their land, which apparently is the thing only poor people do. It seems like it would be expensive, but apparently it's not. The dragon is another point of view character. His name is Casimir, and he is Russian, apparently. But he's not actually Russian. I don't really know. They're like, I guess it's like a Russian breed because he's blue. I don't really understand. But that's only important because in the 1950s, the US and Russia had a lot of strife between them. So that's his cross to bear, I suppose. And also he's a dragon. Anyways, but he is interesting. We haven't really gotten anything from his point of view yet. But he has helped the main character get out of a sticky situation twice now already, from a racist cop in her town. So I like him so far. I'm not really sure what's up with him, but I do like him. And then we also have this point of view character of this character, Malcolm, who is, I think, another teenage boy. And he's part of this cult that worships dragons. And I don't really know much more about it than that, but they're like a terrorist group. Made up of humans only that think the dragons are supreme. I'm not really sure. Regardless, that's what I'm reading right now. I'm gonna keep listening to it. I won't finish it today. I can tell you that much for sure. But I have like 8.5 hours left of the audiobook. I'm listening on 3 times speed. I'm not hating it. I wasn't loving it at first, but I've decided to give it a little bit of a chance. It's different than anything I've ever read before, which is not a bad thing, but also like I don't know if it's something that I'm going to enjoy or like actively like. It's what I'm saying is it's feeling like a 3-star right now, but I'm not very far into it. Also, I'm drinking a Boulevard Wheat on my couch because I'm tired. But I'm actually watching YouTube videos right now because I don't really feel like reading anymore. I've finished 2 books today and I'm feeling pretty confident about that. But I do want to keep reading this, so I'll probably do some more unloading in a little bit, or like unpacking. We have to find our sheets because this might be TMI, but we have an IKEA bed, and we did not undo the IKEA bed because we were hoping that they could just move it in one piece. However, we do have a king size bed, so I'm glad that they did. The moving guys, we hired moving people to move us to load our stuff into a truck, and then we just unloaded it on ourselves, which seems to be the way to go, honestly. We did it because the couches that we have, when we moved in, we'd hired movers to help us move them into the house. I don't remember why we did that, but it was a genius idea because we could not have gotten the couches that we have inside the house that we used to live in without movers. Because they had to like walk them up halfway up our staircase and then re-angle it into the living room, and they had like special straps and stuff. I don't know. I would not have been able to do it. Regardless, we hired movers to pack us up, and they packed us up in like 3 hours. I'm pretty sure it would have taken us like all day if it was just the two of us. We were able to unpack everything in like an hour and a half, and 2 of Matt's friends came over and helped us, 2 of his guy friends. So that was good. But moving is so exhausting. And also, like, the way that we pack, we're just not. Matt packed like 90% of our stuff, which was so amazing because we would have not had anything packed if it was up to me, apparently. But just like, it got to a point where things are organized by room for the most part, but then today, anything that we'd been like using the past couple of days, we just were throwing into boxes. And that means that there are certain things that we can't find. Like, I'm dumb. I packed my glasses somewhere. I have no idea where they are. I know where my contacts are, so I'll just have to wear contacts, and that's not the end of the world. I'll just go about the house blind before I put my contacts in. It's really not that big of a deal. But I was just thinking about it. I was like, my contacts are feeling kind of dry because I've had them in since 7 this morning. And I was like, I don't know where my glasses are. So I have to find those. But yeah, this has been kind of a long update. I finished some things. I will come at you tomorrow with a full recap of what I did this week. And then also tomorrow I will start a new reading vlog. And I don't know what my other video this week is going to be. It could be setting up the library, but honestly I don't know if I'm going to get to it. Because I do have a library in this house, which is very exciting for me. I want to buy more bookshelves to like fill it out, but we'll see. So anyways, that's it for right now. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Hi. As promised, it is Sunday, and I'm here to give you a brief recap of what I finished reading last week for the second week of these 2 readathons that I'm participating in. So I will do that. I am in my library right now. It's also kind of the catch-all room for moving because the way this house is set up, this is the first room off of the garage. So when we were moving things in, we were pulling things from the garage, and then if they had to go upstairs, but we had furniture to put together upstairs, all of the boxes have stayed down here for the most part. And there's some furniture that we're not exactly sure which room it's gonna go in. So anyways, this room is like covered in boxes. And to be fair, a lot of the boxes are my books. But then also you're in front of 2 boxes that go in the kitchen that we didn't know where they would go. And also the kitchen is kind of small, so it's hard to have all of the boxes for all the stuff that's gonna go in drawers. Regardless, I'm just going to quickly go in and recap the books that I read, and then I will start the spiel over again when I start next week's vlog, which I'm going to do probably right after this. So I finished Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano and gave it 4 stars, and I read that for the prompt of, I did not read that for a prompt in Everbloom Academy, but it was for a prompt in Orillium. It was for the first artificery prompt, which is to read a book with a cover the color of your birthstone. My birthstone is an opal. Opals come in all kinds of colors, and I felt like this cover, which hopefully I'm remembering to put here, is a good description of like what opals sometimes look like, because there are a lot of times like white or cream with like other colors interspersed in them. From what I understand, I honestly don't think I've ever seen a real opal in person, but I have been gifted like artificial opals or whatever as like presents, because I'm pretty sure opals are quite expensive, so it makes sense that I would never have owned one. Anyways, then I did also finish The Talent of Mr. Ripley, which I don't think I read for either readathon because I had already picked it up, but let me make sure that that is not, or that is true. Yeah, I did not read that for anything. So, but I did finish it, and I ended up giving that 4 stars as well. And then I read Dead to the World by Charlene Harris, and I gave that 3 stars, and I read it for the Orillium prompt of Elytrian History, which is the first prompt in the like lore thing, and that's to read a vampire book. So I did read it for that. And then in Everbloom Academy, there was a prompt to read a book featuring talking animals, and I misremembered that this book had talking animals. It does have shapeshifters, but they do not talk while they're shifted, as far as I'm aware. But I'm still counting it because this is my channel and I can do whatever I want. Okay, so that's what I read that for. And then I read Anna Karenina, which again was for the second prompt in lore for Orillium, which was to read a translated book because Anna Karenina is translated from Russian. And in Everbloom Academy, there was another prompt called Ancient Languages, which is to read a translated book again. So it counted for both of those readathons for the same prompt category, I guess, if that makes sense. I gave that 3 stars. Ultimately, I didn't dislike it at all, and I am very proud of myself for reading it. Like, I don't wish I DNF'd it. I'm glad that I've read it. I don't really think it was like the world's best novel. And again, you can tell me if you think it is, because apparently, according to Goodreads, a lot of people think it is. I would like to know why, because for me, it was just kind of boring, and maybe it's just like too far past the time when the like social and political commentary was relevant. But I find like Jane Austen's political and social commentary remains relevant today. The commentary about farming in this, I really just could not care less. So unfortunately for me. And then the last book that I finished, oh no, that was the last book that I finished. Oh, great. Okay. And then I started to read Burned by Patrick Ness, and I was going to tell you what prompts that was for. That is counting for the unicorn and dragon writing class in Everbloom Academy. The prompt is to read a book that features either unicorns or dragons. This book has a dragon as a central character. And the second prompt in the artificery class for Orillium is Helping Hands, read a book with a non-human protagonist. Again, this book features a dragon that has some point of view chapters. And so I'm considering him one of the protagonists of the story. He's not the main protagonist, but I'm counting it. I also just realized that I forgot to talk about Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey, which I did read in its entirety during this vlog. And I actually was able to make that work for the inscription prompt for the second inscription prompt for Orillium, which the prompt is that the color wheel picks the color, and it says color wheel for title color. I'm not using it for that, obviously. I'm using it for a color on the cover. I didn't think about it too clearly, and also I'm literally really stretching this to try to make it work, but I rolled or spun a color wheel online that I will insert here. And as you can see, it landed on amber. If you look at the cover of Fix Her Up, it has a yellow/amber ladder on the cover. And so I'm counting it for that. And I give that book 5 stars. So again, kind of cheating, but I wanted it to fit in somehow so I could talk about it during this vlog. And that's how I made it fit. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you would like to, you can subscribe to my channel because I do try to post 2 videos every week. I have no idea what my second video is going to be this week because nothing is put together behind me, but I might film myself trying to put together the library. So hopefully stick around if you'd like to see that. I don't know if that will be this next video or when that will come, but at some point I will have to put together my library. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon.